Have you ever stopped and asked yourself whether God truly intended for you to spend your life struggling? Were you created to keep pushing against closed doors, constantly chasing after things that seem out of reach? The answer is no. One of the greatest misunderstandings people accept is the belief that everything valuable must be pursued through endless effort and hardship. You were not born to spend your life searching for what already belongs to you. The moment you begin desperately looking for something, you unknowingly reinforce the idea that it is missing. And when you continue to focus on absence, you create more experiences that reflect that lack. Within you is a divine power far greater than you have been taught to believe. Yet most people have been conditioned to think that success only comes through struggle, sacrifice, and constant effort. They are told that nothing can happen unless they force it into existence. But consider your own experience. Has worry ever delivered your desire? Has fear ever created the outcome you wanted? More often than not, it has done the opposite. The secret has never been in chasing. It has always been in knowing. Someone who truly knows they are prosperous does not spend every moment searching for proof. Someone who knows they are valued does not run after validation. Someone who knows they are meant for greater things does not beg for opportunities. They move through life with quiet certainty. The message has always been simple: be still and recognize the presence of God within. Not strive endlessly, not live in anxiety, not plead with life for what you want. Simply know. If you have been searching for a job, release the desperation. If you have been seeking security, stop looking outside yourself for it. Turn inward instead. Imagine yourself already living the reality you desire. Experience the feelings you would have if it were already yours. Feel the gratitude, confidence, relief, and peace of fulfillment. When you occupy that state consistently, life begins to respond in remarkable ways. Opportunities appear naturally, new paths emerge, situations align without force because you are no longer operating from lack. You are operating from certainty. Everything that appears in your life is connected to the world within you. The people you meet, the experiences you attract, the opportunities you encounter, and even the challenges you face are reflections of your dominant assumptions. Nothing is occurring randomly. Your inner state is constantly expressing itself through your outer reality. Once you understand this, you stop feeling powerless. You stop believing life is happening to you and begin realizing that life is responding through you. That realization changes everything. From childhood, most people are taught to look outside themselves for fulfillment. They are told that success depends entirely on hard work, that love depends on another person, and that happiness depends on acquiring more things. But what if the source of all those experiences already exists within you? The outer world acts like a mirror. It reflects back the beliefs and assumptions you consistently hold. If you believe life is difficult, unfair, and full of obstacles, you will continue finding evidence that supports those beliefs. But if you assume that life is working in your favor, that you are guided, supported, and provided for, reality begins reflecting that expectation instead. The change does not begin in the world around you. It begins within you. Your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions are shaping your experiences every day. If you currently see limitation, struggle, or lack in your life, understand that these conditions are not permanent forces controlling your destiny. They are simply reflections of beliefs that have been accepted as true. There is no need to fight them or fear them. Change the inner cause, and the outer effect must follow. Many people spend years trying to change circumstances while ignoring the state of consciousness creating those circumstances. They pursue money, relationships, achievements, and recognition, believing those things will finally bring fulfillment. Yet, even after reaching their goals, they often feel incomplete because the inner belief has remained unchanged. A person who secretly feels unworthy will continue attracting experiences that confirm that feeling, regardless of their achievements. On the other hand, a person who genuinely feels abundant will continue attracting abundance even if they begin with very little. So ask yourself honestly, What assumptions are you carrying about who you are? Do you see yourself as capable, deserving, and naturally aligned with success? Or do you see yourself as someone who must constantly struggle, prove themselves, and fight for every blessing? Life will always reflect the answer. To create a different reality, you must first create a different self-concept. Become aware of the conversations taking place in your mind. Pay attention to the stories you repeatedly tell yourself and the emotions you consistently entertain. Wanting a better life is not enough. You must become the version of yourself who already possesses it. If you desire love, begin by feeling loved now. If you desire abundance, begin by feeling abundant now. The moment you embody the state of already having what you seek, the world begins rearranging itself to match the reality you have accepted within. If your desire is financial freedom, then begin living from the feeling of abundance now. The outer world always follows the inner world. What you experience externally is simply catching up to what you have accepted internally. This is where many people become frustrated. They wait for circumstances to improve before allowing themselves to feel confident, secure, or fulfilled. What they fail to realize is that reality is waiting for them to make the inner shift first. The moment you accept responsibility for your experience, you step back into your power. Instead of reacting to life, you begin shaping it. Instead of chasing opportunities, you become someone opportunities are drawn to. Instead of seeking validation from others, you naturally radiate confidence and self-assurance. The world around you is not controlling your destiny. It is responding to the beliefs and assumptions you consistently hold. If you want an honest picture of what you truly believe about yourself, look at the conditions of your life. They reveal your dominant state more clearly than anything else. And if there is something you wish to change, do not waste energy fighting the reflection. Change the image within, and the reflection will follow. You were never created to search outside yourself for fulfillment. You were not sent here to endlessly pursue, struggle, or hope that life might eventually favor you. You are here to claim what is already yours, to assume the reality you desire, and to stand in the certainty that it already exists. When you do that, the world has no choice but to mirror your conviction. You were never intended to spend your life chasing blessings that already belong to you. The belief that everything valuable must be earned through exhaustion and hardship is a concept created by human thinking, not divine truth. From the very beginning, everything necessary for your journey was already prepared. Your role is not to force it into existence, but to align yourself with it, accept it, and trust its unfolding. Every time you chase after something, you reinforce the idea that it is separate from you. You tell yourself that it is missing and somewhere outside your reach. That mindset creates more distance. But the moment you move into a state of receiving, you acknowledge that what you desire is already available. You shift from longing to fulfillment, and life begins reflecting that change. Look at the natural world around you. The sun does not struggle to rise each morning. Rivers do not fight their way toward the ocean. Trees do not force themselves to grow. They simply receive what is available to them and naturally become what they were designed to be. Birds do not spend their days consumed by fear that there will not be enough. They trust the process of life. You are part of that same divine order. You were never meant to live in constant desperation or pursue your desires as though they were always escaping you. What truly belongs to you cannot be taken away. The power to bring forth what you need has already been placed within you. Once you recognize that power, you stop operating from fear and lack. You stop searching for approval, affection, success, or opportunity from a place of emptiness. Instead, you stand firmly in the belief that life is already working in your favor. From that state, everything begins to flow with greater ease. The world has conditioned people to believe that struggle is necessary for success. It teaches that achievement belongs only to those who push the hardest, that love must be earned, and that opportunities must be fought for. Yet, if you observe those who seem to attract wonderful experiences effortlessly, you will often notice something different. They are not obsessed with chasing. They possess a quiet certainty. They expect good things because they already see themselves as aligned with them. They do not force outcomes. They allow them. They do not beg life for blessings. They receive them. If you find yourself constantly searching, pause for a moment and ask what belief your actions are expressing. Are you acting from confidence or from lack? Are you assuming your desire is already connected to you, or are you treating it as something distant and unavailable? Everything changes when your perception changes. The moment you begin seeing yourself as already possessing what you seek, the need to chase disappears. You stop running after life because life begins moving toward you. God never intended for you to plead for what is already yours by divine right. Think of a child asking a loving parent for nourishment. The child does not need to prove worthiness before receiving care. Yet many people approach life believing they must earn every blessing before it can arrive. The truth is that what you desire is not determined by worthiness. It is determined by alignment. The secret to receiving lies in your state of consciousness. You must enter the feeling of already having what you seek. When that feeling becomes natural, reality begins organizing itself around the assumption you have accepted as true. If your heart longs for love, begin experiencing the feeling of being loved right now. If you want success, step into the mindset and confidence of a successful person today. Your outer reality is constantly reflecting what is happening within you. The moment you stop pursuing and start accepting, something remarkable begins to happen. The very things you once chased start moving toward you. New possibilities appear naturally. The right people enter your life at the perfect time. Opportunities emerge from places you never expected, and paths open that you never even knew existed. This is not fantasy or blind optimism. It is a principle that operates whether you are aware of it or not. Chasing reinforces the belief that your desire is distant and unavailable. Trusting, on the other hand, allows you to align with what is already yours. Release the struggle. Let go of the need to control every outcome. Rest in the certainty that your role is not to force things into being, but to receive what is already prepared for you. When you do, life begins unfolding in ways far greater than your logical mind can predict. Everything you experience is influenced by the assumptions you consistently accept as true. Life is not something happening independently of you. It is responding to the state of consciousness you occupy. Whatever you repeatedly assume, believe, and imagine eventually becomes part of your experience. Circumstances are not the ultimate authority in your life. They are reflections of deeper causes operating within you. Most people place all their faith in what they can see with their eyes. They assume that physical facts define reality. Yet every invention, every achievement, every creation first existed in the unseen realm of thought. Before any building was constructed, it existed as an idea. Before any masterpiece was created, it was imagined. Before any transformation appeared in someone's life, it lived in consciousness first. This is how creation works. Everything begins internally before it expresses itself externally. Once you truly understand this, you stop treating life as though it has power over you. Instead, you recognize that life is constantly reflecting your dominant state of mind. If you continually expect struggle, limitation, and disappointment, you will notice experiences that confirm those expectations. Not because life is unfair, but because your assumptions are shaping what you perceive and attract. Your imagination is the source. The world is the reflection. Change the inner image, and the outer picture must eventually change as well. The same principle applies to abundance. When you genuinely accept that life supports you, that opportunities are available, and that you are provided for, reality begins arranging itself around those assumptions. You find yourself meeting the right people. You arrive at the right place at the right moment. Answers appear when needed. Circumstances align in ways that seem almost unbelievable. These events are not accidents. They are the natural result of a law that is always operating. Many people remain trapped because they react only to appearances. When they see lack, they focus on it even more, strengthening it in their minds. When they experience rejection, they accept the belief that they are unworthy, which only produces more experiences that reflect that belief. They unknowingly allow external conditions to determine their inner state. Those who understand the creative power of consciousness do the opposite. They refuse to let appearances dictate what they believe. They do not wait for proof before changing their assumptions. They change their assumptions first, knowing that reality will eventually conform to them. The world consistently reflects what you persist in believing about yourself and life. If you want a different experience, begin by changing the conversations taking place within your own mind. Pay attention to the stories you repeat every day. Notice the mental pictures you dwell upon. If your thoughts are filled with failure, disappointment, and doubt, those patterns will continue expressing themselves in your life. If you constantly identify with loneliness, lack, or limitation, you will continue encountering experiences that mirror those feelings. Your subconscious accepts what you repeatedly impress upon it. It responds to your dominant thoughts and emotions and works to express them as reality. That is why assuming the fulfillment of your desire is so powerful. Do not wait for success before feeling successful. Do not wait for love before feeling loved. Do not wait for abundance before feeling prosperous. Enter that state now. Think from it, feel from it, live from it. Carry yourself as someone whose desire has already been fulfilled. Speak with the confidence of a person who has already received what they asked for. Think with the certainty of someone whose outcome is already secured. The more natural that state becomes, the more your outer world will begin reflecting it back to you. What is accepted within must eventually appear without. That is the law, and it never fails. Begin thinking from the perspective of already having what you want, rather than from the perspective of wanting it. When your inner state changes, the outer world eventually reorganizes itself to match it. Many people find this difficult to accept because they have been taught that circumstances are permanent and that destiny is something beyond their control. Yet those who have applied the principles of imagination and consciousness know otherwise. The reality you experience is largely shaped by the assumptions you consistently accept. If you embrace limitations, your life will continue reflecting them. But when you choose to trust in possibilities beyond what your eyes can currently see, and you persist in that belief, new outcomes begin to emerge. There is no need to battle against life, force circumstances, or endlessly pursue what you desire. The real work is changing the inner belief that created the current experience. Accept abundance as natural, and abundance becomes your experience. Accept love as your reality, and love begins showing up everywhere. Accept success as inevitable, and opportunities begin revealing themselves. The world is not separate from your consciousness. It reflects back the ideas and assumptions you hold most deeply. Your imagination is one of the greatest creative forces available to you. Use it intentionally, and your life will begin mirroring the images you consistently hold within. Desire itself is not accidental. It does not appear in your heart by chance, nor is it something you must struggle to obtain. Desire is often a signal pointing you toward a greater possibility already available to you. When the vision of a better life, meaningful love, prosperity, or achievement arises within you, it is revealing a potential reality that can be experienced. Many people misunderstand desire. They interpret it as proof that something is missing. Because of this belief, they spend years chasing after goals, convinced they must constantly pursue what they want. But what if desire is not evidence of lack? What if it is evidence of possibility? The fact that a dream continues to call to you may be a sign that it belongs within your path. If a certain vision repeatedly appears in your mind and heart, there is a reason for it. Desire can act as an invitation, showing you what becomes possible when you align your thinking and feeling with it. Imagine tuning a radio. The music already exists in the air around you, but you must align with the correct frequency to hear it clearly. In the same way, the experiences you desire may already exist as possibilities. Your task is to align your consciousness with them. When you desire prosperity, you are being invited to align with the state of prosperity. When you desire love, you are being called toward the experience of love. When you desire achievement, you are being drawn toward a greater expression of yourself. You are not necessarily creating something from nothing. You are becoming aware of possibilities that were available all along. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that they must suffer in order to receive. They assume they must constantly prove themselves, overcome endless obstacles, and fight for every blessing. Yet why would a desire arise within you only to remain forever out of reach? Often the greatest obstacle is not the desire itself. It is the belief that fulfillment must be difficult. The moment you release the idea that everything worthwhile requires struggle, life begins to feel different. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop living in constant resistance. Instead, you begin allowing. To awaken to the reality you desire, you must first accept it internally. Live from the feeling that it is already unfolding. Trust that what cannot yet be seen can still be real. This is the essence of faith. It is the ability to remain aligned with a vision before physical evidence appears. When you genuinely accept your desired outcome as possible and real within your consciousness, circumstances often begin shifting in unexpected ways. New opportunities appear, different ideas emerge, new paths reveal themselves. Some people claim that desire only leads to disappointment. But disappointment usually comes from believing that fulfillment exists outside of you and must be chased. The deeper truth is that transformation begins within. You do not endlessly pursue your desires, you align with them. You think from them, feel from them, and allow your identity to match them. You have been taught to glorify struggle, competition, and constant effort. Yet all around you, nature demonstrates a different principle. The sun rises every day without strain. The seasons transition naturally. Rivers move toward the sea without forcing their way there. Life itself contains an intelligence that flows with ease. The more you learn to align yourself with that same flow, the more naturally your desires begin finding expression. What once felt distant starts feeling attainable. What once seemed impossible starts appearing within reach. And what once required endless chasing begins arriving through alignment, trust, and a transformed state of consciousness. Nature does not fight against itself, and neither were you meant to. When you fully accept that your desire already belongs to you, life begins to move with a natural ease. The constant need to chase disappears, and you step into a state of receiving. Release the belief that everything valuable must be earned through struggle. Let go of the idea that your desires exist somewhere outside of you. Trust that the dream placed within your heart was not given to frustrate you or remain forever out of reach. It was placed there for a reason. Your role is simply to align with it, accept it as real, and live from the certainty that it is already unfolding. As you do this, you will begin noticing changes that seem almost effortless. Circumstances shift, new opportunities emerge. The world starts reflecting the reality you first accepted within yourself. There is a significant difference between searching for something and knowing it already belongs to you. Searching assumes distance. It assumes that what you want exists somewhere beyond your reach. Knowing creates a completely different experience. It recognizes that the desired reality already exists, and that the only thing required is a shift in awareness. When you begin living from the end result, rather than constantly looking for it, your outer world starts responding to that confidence. Most people spend their lives seeking. They search for happiness, financial freedom, love, recognition, and fulfillment. They believe these things are somewhere ahead of them, waiting to be discovered. Yet the more they search, the more they reinforce the idea that they do not have them. Life then reflects that assumption. Seeking often strengthens the feeling of lack because it keeps attention focused on what seems absent. But living in the end is different. It is no longer about searching, it is about becoming. You stop looking for evidence that your desire is on its way because you begin identifying with the version of yourself who already has it. You think from fulfillment rather than from longing. You speak from confidence rather than uncertainty. You carry yourself as though the outcome is already secure. This is often the dividing line between struggle and ease. One person is always reaching for something. The other has mentally arrived. Consider an actor stepping into a role. When they perform, they do not spend the entire time pretending to become the character. They fully embrace the identity. They think, speak, and behave as that person would. Their commitment is what makes the performance believable. The same principle applies to consciousness. When you genuinely assume the identity of the person who already has what they desire, life begins organizing itself around that assumption. Many people resist this because they want visible proof before they change their thinking. They believe evidence must come first. Yet creation works in the opposite direction. The visible world follows the invisible one. If you insist on waiting for proof before changing your state of mind, you remain trapped in the same cycle. Everything begins to change when you stop waiting and start knowing. Imagine someone who desires financial abundance. If they constantly focus on what is missing, worry about every expense, and repeatedly identify themselves with lack, they continue living from that state. But the moment they begin adopting the mindset of abundance, carrying themselves with confidence, and making decisions from trust rather than fear, their inner world changes. As that inner shift becomes natural, external circumstances begin reflecting it. New ideas emerge, opportunities appear, helpful connections form, unexpected doors open. This is not about forcing outcomes. It is about understanding how consciousness influences experience. You do not need to know every step that will lead to your desired result. You do not need to map out every detail. Your responsibility is to accept the end result internally. Once you do, life has a way of arranging the path. Living in the end means trusting that what is unseen is just as real as what is visible. It means releasing the constant need to ask when it will happen or how it will happen. You stop questioning because, in your mind, it is already accomplished. One of the greatest obstacles people face is doubt. They move back and forth between belief and fear. One moment they feel certain, and the next they are searching for reassurance. They continuously check for signs, wondering if their desire is getting closer. But genuine faith operates differently. Faith does not depend on constant confirmation. Faith chooses a reality and remains loyal to it. It accepts something as true before physical evidence appears, and continues holding that assumption until the outer world reflects it. That is why it is so important to embody the reality you want before it becomes visible. Do not wait for circumstances to give you permission to feel successful. Do not wait for others to make you feel loved. Do not wait for money to make you feel abundant or achievements to make you feel worthy. Choose those states now. Feel prosperous before prosperity appears. Feel loved before receiving validation. Feel successful before the achievement arrives. The more natural these feelings become within you, the more your external reality will begin reflecting them. Life consistently mirrors the state you occupy. When you live from fulfillment instead of longing, the world eventually has no choice but to echo that truth back to you. Feel it in this moment. Claim it as yours now. Carry yourself with the confidence of someone who already possesses what they desire. When you do, you will eventually discover that reality begins reflecting that belief. The instant you move from searching to knowing, everything starts to shift, because the outer world can only mirror the state you consistently hold within. Faith is the connection between what is visible and what has not yet appeared. Many people misunderstand faith, seeing it as little more than wishful thinking or uncertain hope. But true faith is far stronger than that. It is a deep inner certainty that exists even when there is no physical evidence to support it. Most people place their trust only in what their senses can confirm. If they cannot see it, touch it, or explain it logically, they struggle to believe it. Yet some of the most powerful forces in life begin beyond the reach of the senses. The reality you desire often exists long before it becomes visible. Your role is not to chase it into existence, but to trust its unfolding. The moment you begin chasing something, you reinforce the belief that it is separate from you. You convince yourself that it exists somewhere outside your reach. That mindset creates distance. Trust works differently. Trust assumes the outcome is already secure. It relaxes into certainty and allows the desired reality to move naturally into experience. Faith is not about forcing circumstances to change. It is about aligning yourself with a possibility that already exists. Think about planting a seed in the ground. Once it is planted, you do not dig it up every day to check whether it has started growing. You trust the process. You provide what is needed and allow nature to do its work. Beneath the surface, invisible changes are taking place long before anything can be seen. Your desires work in much the same way. The moment a desire enters your awareness, a seed has been planted. Your belief nourishes it. Your trust strengthens it. Constant worry, fear, and doubt only interfere with the natural process. But when you remain confident and continue living as though your desired outcome is already unfolding, you create the conditions for it to express itself. Some people assume faith means sitting back and doing nothing. In reality, faith is active. It is a state of consciousness. It is moving through life with confidence, even when the final result has not yet appeared. It is thinking, speaking, and acting from the assumption that what you desire is already making its way into form. Faith does not wait for proof before believing. It believes first and allows proof to follow. History is filled with examples of individuals who trusted in possibilities that others could not yet see. Great discoveries, innovations, works of art, and life-changing achievements all began as unseen ideas. Before the world acknowledged them, someone believed in them. The same principle applies to your own life. You must trust in the fulfillment of your vision before physical evidence appears. That trust becomes the foundation upon which new experiences are built. One of the greatest obstacles to this process is doubt. Doubt creates conflict within the mind. One moment you feel certain, and the next you question everything. You move between belief and fear, confidence and uncertainty. This inconsistency weakens your focus and keeps you trapped in waiting. Faith remains steady. Faith holds to the vision, regardless of appearances. It does not constantly ask how, when, or where the result will come from. Those questions belong to the analytical mind, but they are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to accept the outcome internally and remain loyal to that assumption. Trust that circumstances are shifting in ways you cannot yet see. Trust that opportunities are being prepared. Trust that people, events, and situations are aligning behind the scenes. Much more is happening than the physical eye can perceive. Life often unfolds through channels you could never have predicted. That is why trying to control every detail is unnecessary. When you release the need to manage every outcome, you create space for greater possibilities to emerge. A person living in faith carries themselves differently. They are not consumed by anxiety. They are not desperate for constant reassurance. They do not attempt to force life into submission. Instead, they move forward with confidence, knowing that what belongs to them cannot miss them. They speak with certainty. They act with purpose. They trust the timing of life without feeling the need to rush it. Faith serves as the bridge between imagination and manifestation. It transforms ideas into experiences. It allows the invisible to become visible. When you stop chasing and begin trusting, you often realize that what you were seeking was never truly far away. It was waiting for you to accept it as possible. Everything you desire already has its origin within you. The experiences you attract are influenced by your beliefs, assumptions, and the identity you choose to embody. There is no need to struggle endlessly for what is already aligned with your highest vision. There is only a need to recognize it. You are not here to spend your life pursuing opportunities from a place of lack. You are here to align yourself with them. You are not meant to live in constant uncertainty. You are meant to move through life with the confidence that what belongs to you is already finding its way to you. Your imagination is a creative force. Your desires point you toward greater possibilities, and your faith is what connects those possibilities to your lived experience. So stop searching for confirmation. Stop allowing doubt to weaken your vision. Choose to know. Choose to trust. Choose to walk as though your desire has already been fulfilled. As your inner conviction strengthens, your outer world will begin reflecting it. The assumptions you consistently accept will shape the experiences you encounter. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust that life is working in ways you may not yet understand. Move forward with confidence, knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect order. And as you do, allow life to reveal just how powerfully your inner world shapes the reality around you. Thank you for being here with Neville Goddard World.